Hi, everybody. It is 9 o'clock Eastern. It is time for the Monday Night Huddle show. We have a great show for you tonight. I'm your host, Matt Brown. Hopefully, you guys are having a great Monday night. Shout out to Isha and Yolanda out there watching on YouTube. I know you guys are having a Monday Night Huddle party. That's right. Fans are going to, it's like the old wrestling days. They used to have Monday Nitro parties. People are going to have Monday Night Huddle parties coming out. So, again, we got a great show for you tonight. We're going to do our baseball preview show. But before we do that, a little update on Hotbox Cards. We started shipping our March boxes out last week. So we're going to be shipping them out here all week and next week getting those March boxes out to you guys. Remember, it's Mystery March. So you get a black envelope in your box and see if you can figure out who the player is inside your mystery envelope. That's why it's called Mystery March. So, and a special announcement next week, next Monday night at the Monday Night Huddle show, our buddy Keith White is going to be on to do our WrestleMania preview show from the Keith White, of course, from the Mixed Tag Podcast. Will be joining us live here in the studio, and we will be, well, not much of a studio, I guess, but yeah, kind of a studio. But he will be joining us again next Monday night for our WrestleMania preview show. I know all you guys will want to check that out. If you guys are in the comments, make sure you hit a comment. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe on our YouTube and Facebook channels. Make sure you check us out on those. So we're going to do our we're going to do our preview baseball show. I actually had our regular guests, Card Shark Chris and Rob the Shark, couldn't make it this week. So we actually reached out to our buddy Dave over at Zero Fox Sports Cards. He couldn't make it. So I had to bring somebody on, and I decided to bring on the guy who has the best beard on YouTube. I'm talking about the one and only Chris Ellis, the card guy. Chris Ellis, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Matt?
Good. I see you're representing the Braves there. I have a feeling you might be picking the Braves in some of our predictions.
Some, not all.
Not all. Okay. Yeah. A little preview for the upcoming thing. Chris Ellis, card guy, that is your channel on YouTube. What do you guys do over there on your YouTube channel, you and your son?
Me and my son, Christopher, we talk about anything from the three major sports, from football, basketball, baseball. We talk a little bit of wrestling. We'll probably get into more with the WrestleMania going on. We also talk about the cards that anybody should collect or look at that are not necessarily the top guys. Sometimes your heart and soul glue guys. That I've done one on Jay Novacek, great tight end for the Cowboys, but many people might not think, superstar, so guys like that. Also, we talk about we've been talking about the latest draft coming up, on who we think are going to be the top guys to collect out of football this year. We've talked about the signings, the latest signings going on, and we've been talking about spring training and some of the rule changes that have been going on in baseball.
Sounds great. I know you guys do some comic book stuff over there as well. I enjoy watching your channel. I'm watching the videos as well. Speaking of the new rules, let's start off this preview video. Let's talk about the new rules. The big one is the game clock. There's a lot of different rules on this game clock thing going on. I don't want to get through all that, but the game clock, it seems like it has changed baseball, at least for spring training so far. How much of an impact do you think that's going to have on the regular season, this game clock?
The regular season, I think it's going to help the pitchers out more than the hitters. I think the pitchers are going to be like, okay, he's in the box, I'm just going to start swinging. The one timeout thing, I think they need to kind of look at. I think sometimes batters, it's almost like looking out down the sights of a rifle. Sometimes you look at the pitcher so long, or where the pitch is coming in your hand, your eyes start getting blurry. So I think they might want to look at that one. I understand them going fast, but like you said last week, I don't mind a 4-hour baseball game or a 3-hour baseball game as long as it's a good baseball game. But I understand that they're trying to get younger viewers, and their attention spans are kind of like, yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think if you incorporated they do at the All-Star game, like talking to the players, as long as the players don't mind doing it, I mean, do those things too. Just don't. I mean, also market your your guys. The baseball is the worst. I think it's one of the worst about marketing players.
Mm-hmm. And you know what also brings a lot of young people in is dingers. People love the dingers. You know, you look at McGuire and Sosa, what they did in the 90s with baseball, bringing baseball back. That helps out more than anything else. And we're seeing right now, we're seeing some great baseball in the World Baseball Classic. They don't have a game clock.
No.
So it shows you can do it, you know, successfully. But you got the World Baseball Classic going on with the passion and the, you know, the stars playing in there. And I think baseball ought to look at some of that, you know, some of those unwritten rules sometimes of not showing your personality in baseball games should be changed a little bit.
The unwritten rules probably should be written now. I mean, I understand not showing up your opponent, and I understand that, but if you can strike out somebody and show emotion like Dennis Eckersley did back in the day, or you hit a shot that's just amazing, of course, I think any natural person's going to watch it. I mean, I'm sorry, it's going to now if it's 12-2 and you hit a home run that makes it 12-3, I don't think you should be celebrating. I think you should be a little upset that you're losing by 9 runs. But you know, it's a line that we don't know how it is anymore. It's one of those things. No one knows what's right or wrong anymore compared to what it was back in the day, or even 10 years ago. You know.
Right. Now that, of course, is the rule change that a lot of people are talking about is the pitch clock, but there's some other rule changes that I think are going to be just as important and just as big. The first one is the shift is gone. Mostly of the shift is gone. Now you have to have at least when the pitcher throws the ball, you have to have 4 infielders, 2 on each side of second base, and then they can move after the pitch has been thrown. But I think that's going to have probably a bigger impact than the pitch clock, really. What do you think?
Yeah, I think because you're going to know what the range of these infielders are now. You're not going to have your second baseman or your shortstop on the second base side where they got the ground ball and just can toss it now. Now you got guys that got to range the hole. And there's not a lot of shortstops that can do that.
Yeah, and that's going to revitalize some of those hitters. You know, your Joey Gallos and stuff. Those guys who are those left-handed, you know, hitters that have just, you know, their stats have sank because of the shift, and I think you're going to see them revitalize a little bit as well this season.
I think shortstop is going to be the position that you're going to be going, oh wow, this guy is not really a good shortstop because you don't have the range or even the speed to do what I mean. Derek Jeter wasn't a great shortstop defensively by any means, but he still could get to the hole and still make a good throw. Some of these young guys don't even know what playing without a shift is now.
Right. Yeah. So ingrained in our game right now. So it's kind of nice. I think they're getting rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just like anything. It's like the zone in basketball. Do you play it or do you not?
Right.
You know?
Definitely. The other big rule change is the bases are getting bigger. They're going from a 15-inch to an 18-inch base. They've done this in the minors for a while. Last year in the minors, AAA did it for the first year. There wasn't much of a difference, but some of the lower minors, it really helped out with stolen bases, which would also then increase run production as well. Do you see any kind of major problem with the bases getting a little bit bigger? Also, it's going to help out with injuries too. That's the big one. Not having those collisions at first base and things.
What I hope it would change is guys base running and putting base running in the game. That would make things, you give your base stealers something. I don't think the bigger bases help base stealers necessarily because it's only like a 3-inch difference, give or take. I think it's going to help them with, you won't see as many guys trip over the bag or fly over the bag or their ankles or whatever. That's the good thing. I have no issue with the bases being bigger. I would love for base running to be back in the game, like with how we had Ricky, Harold Reynolds, Vince Coleman, Tim Raines. I think that would bring excitement back to the game too. You know the guy's going. It's but you got analytics saying that stolen bases are not that great. So, yeah.
Definitely. So those are the major rule changes. And of course, what we're going to do is we're going to go division by division and we're going to talk about each division. I'm going to tell you the key additions for a lot of the teams upcoming. Hopefully, I wrote them all down. I don't know if I got them all. Hopefully, I did. But we're going to go division by division. First, we're going to start with the American League East. Key additions are Carlos Rodon for the Yankees. Coming over from my Giants. He left my Giants, folks, to go to the evil empire of the Yankees. Brandon Belt and Dalton Varsho has gone to the Blue Jays. Zach Eflin has gone to the Rays. And Justin Turner with the Red Sox. Out of those additions, Chris, I don't know, maybe I missed one. Let me know if I did, but out of those additions, which one do you think is going to have the bigger impact in the American League East this year?
Actually, I think Rodon's going to have probably the impact. He's coming back to the American League, so he understands the hitters, even though everybody plays everybody this year. But I think he's improved probably the biggest leaps and bounds over the last couple of years. I liked him with Chicago. I wish he would have never left the White Sox, but what he did with the Giants was, I don't think anybody thought he was going to be that good by leaps and bounds. Well, I mean, I was hoping he'd be good because I still collect him, but
yeah.
But I didn't know he would. I mean, he took leaps and bounds. I don't even think the White Sox thought he was going to, take either. So that was the one thing. But I think Rodon has the biggest, probably the biggest taking that, especially with pitching. I mean, pitching's good. I mean, so I would go.
I just worry about he's already starting off a little injured already. Kind of worried about his injury prowess. I kind of like the Dalton Varsho with the Blue Jays. There you have a speedy, good outfielder, very underrated guy who can hit 20, 30 home runs and play a great defense. And I think that's going to be a major addition for the Blue Jays. And I really like the Rays pickup of Zach Eflin from the Phillies. Very underrated pitcher for the Phillies going over to that Rays team. To me, the American League East is the most exciting division in baseball. It was probably last year with the number of teams. I mean, you go from the big markets, the Yankees, all the way down to the Orioles, which the Orioles are probably going to be one of the most exciting teams to watch this year with all their young players. Oh, yeah. Shout out to my mom, who's a big Orioles fan. I know she'll be rooting for them all year long. But what do you see in this division? Who do you think is going to come out of this division, the American League East, this year?
Well, I feel bad for my wife because I'm not picking Baltimore to finish first. So I think Tampa is going to win the division.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the Rays didn't have many changes, but they are probably the best team at playing small ball. Plus they match up well against the National League teams that they'll be playing. I think that's going to help out a lot too, because Tampa plays more of a National League style game to me, even though of course they use everybody's using DH this year, but the American League's ahead of the National League in the DH department. They kept their guys that are DHs. Now National League's having to catch up with DHs. So I think Tampa is going to win the division.
Wow, you're going out on a limb with that one.
Yeah.
I thought I was going on a limb. I'm picking the Blue Jays this year to take the American League East. I think Dalton Varsho, Brandon Belt, another veteran, bringing on board that with Vlad, for all those great players they have. They got some good pitching with Gossman and Manoah. I just think the Blue Jays are going to be. I think the injury bug is going to bite the Yankees this year. Judge had a great year last year, but he's been very injured before that. The last couple of years before that, he was always injured. I think the injury bug might break the Yankees a little bit. I could easily see 2 wild cards coming out of this division, though. Again,
yeah.
There's no easy games. Even the Red Sox, they are still a formidable team. They're not gonna make the playoffs, but they're still a tough out. You don't get there's no easy game in the American League East.
No. I mean, that's where I think the pitching. I think the pitching helps out the most. I mean, the Yankees get helped out by playing in a small ballpark, but that's going to probably hurt them too once these other teams like Toronto, who have power hitters galore, Baltimore has some good power in their lineup. The team probably with the least power is Tampa, but they score in other ways that just it's remarkable when you watch a Tampa Rays game is like they scored on a single from first to home. I mean, it's like you're scratching your head. How is this team winning the way they win? And every year they do it. Yeah, I think I have the Yankees finishing second in the division. And the only reason why is probably because of their young pitching for a certain extent. And if Garrett Cole can ever get the sticky tack thing out of his head, they got a good solid rotation there. So, but yeah.
Right. So, all right, let's move on to the American League Central. Big additions this year for the American League Central. Pablo Lopez coming in for the Twins. He got traded from Miami. He had a great year last year. I always liked him. Josh Bell's going to the Guardians. Andrew Benintendi and Mike Clevenger going to the White Sox. And Zach Greinke, the old man, is back with the Royals. Greinke is back. Chris Ellis, what do you think about the American League Central?
Well, it's easy to go with Pablo Lopez, but I'm going with Josh Bell in Cleveland. I think he's going to kill the ball. Cleveland's not a great home run stadium by many factors, but he's either going to be hitting ahead of Jose or he's going to hit after, and you're going to get pitched to. I mean, and plus Cleveland's got a lot of good young players with Quan and everything. That'll make my boy Clee happy because he's a big Cleveland fan, so it's going to be making him happy. That I think Josh Bell is probably, other than Pablo Lopez, who could easily take the best one, probably almost in the whole American League. Probably is the either the number one or number two pickup in the American League period. I mean, not the Mariners, but the Marlins letting him go is like, what?
Right. But the Twins traded away the American League batting champ to get him, Luis Arias. So I mean, they didn't just sign. It would have been different if they would have signed him as a free agent, but they gave away the American League batting champion to get this guy. Is really going to hurt their offense.
Yeah, yeah, I think they were able to do that more because Correa's now, they look at it, they got Correa, who is probably, I mean, it's probably a Twin for life. Now, I mean,
probably he signed with 4 teams this past year, I think.
Yeah, I think he signed for the most money ever by one major league player, not getting it. So, but yeah. So
all right, so you're going with the Guardians then?
Yes, I'm gonna go.
Okay, I'm going to go with the Twins. I'm going to go with the Twins. I think it's going to come down to the Twins and Guardians, definitely. That division is pretty much up in the air, and nobody's talking about the White Sox. I mean, the White Sox had a couple years ago, they had all the potential. People were talking about them with Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez, and all those guys. But now Jose Abreu's gone. They got a new manager, I believe, coming in. I don't know who that is off the top of my head, but got to be better than La Russa, who did not do that great the last couple of years. But
I think they still have the core pieces. The only person they really truly lost was Abreu in the offense, and he's getting older in age. I mean, he's in his 30s, upper 30s now, because he got to baseball a little bit late, or not late, but to the American game late. I mean, so I like Abreu, and I think, but with Eloy, Gavin Sheets, Tim Anderson, Benintendi's going to help them out in the leadership department and hitting. If you could get back to where he was with the Red Sox, that'd be an awesome pickup. So
yeah,
I mean, and then plus they got a lot of young guys that are in that farm system that are ready. I mean, they got Tatis's brother that's a top prospect. I mean, I think
it's going to come down to their pitching. Really, can their pitching step up, and their young pitchers? Can Michael Kopech take a step up? Does Clevenger still have stuff left in his arm? And Giolito, or however you say his name, of course, still there as well.
Giolito needs to be back where he was 2 years ago. Last year was like, I mean, I had him for Cy Young last year because I was like, oh, he's going to make that. He made the step. Now he needs to make the step to number one, and that kind of hurt. Yeah.
That's right. All right, let's move on to the American League West. I only saw two big signings in the American League West. Jose Abreu, of course, went to the Astros, and Jacob deGrom went to Texas. I know Seattle made a couple of small moves. A couple of the other teams made some small moves too. Hunter Renfroe went to the Angels, but the big moves were Abreu and deGrom. Of course, the Rangers are taking a lot of risk on getting Jacob deGrom.
Yeah.
But let's bring back Chris Ellis. And who do you think's got a bigger impact, Abreu or deGrom in the American League West this year?
Well, deGrom had a good outing the other day. He, if I get an 80% deGrom, which is better than some people's 100% of deGrom, he's going to be good. The only problem is, who does the Rangers also have on that pitching staff other than deGrom? Now, they have hitting. There's no doubt they can hit the ball in that stadium, but they need a couple of more pitching pitchers on that team. With Altuve being hurt, though, Abreu is probably going to have the biggest impact early on.
Yeah, I think so too.
He's going to. I mean, Altuve still is your punch and Judy hitter, but he also hits homers. But Abreu is more of a power guy. He's going to give you that. So it's going to be interesting with that team, how that team is going to go. I mean, if Siri can make a jump from the World Series to that, then yeah. And the Astros still have pitching. They might have lost Verlander, but I mean, Verlander's up there in age too. I mean, hey, it's more of riches than, hey, we won the World Series. Bye. We'll pick somebody else up.
Yeah, I think Christian Javier is really going to have a breakout season this year. He's going to be one of the top two guys on that staff. A lot of most general fans don't know any of the Astro pitchers besides Verlander from last year. I think at the end of this year, everybody's going to know who Christian Javier is.
Oh yeah, he is definitely one of the reasons why, even when Verlander was hurt, he was one of the reasons why they stayed in a lot of games. So
right, that's why I'm going to take the Astros to win the American League West. Even without Altuve's injury, I don't think the Mariners made enough impact, unless the Mariners' young guys like Julio Rodriguez, Kelnick, and some of their young guys really step up this year. I don't see the Mariners overtaking the Astros. What say you, Chris?
Yeah, I have the Astros number one until you beat them. I mean, I think it's time to let the whole cheating scandal go away. This team is just good. It didn't need to do what it did a couple of years ago to win. I mean, we already know that now. I mean, they're too good to, until they have done more with in the American League, done more with their people from their minor leagues than other teams, which is something, you kept your homegrown guys. You kept Alex Bergman. You kept Altuve. You kept all these other guys. And, I mean, Yordan Alvarez right there, I mean, you kept all these guys. So, I mean, why not keep winning until you can't win? You're not the Oakland A's.
Right.
So,
and they've done a great job of keep bringing in. I mean, because you remember originally when the Astros first started to get good, they had Springer, they had Correa, Altuve, and all those guys. And, a lot of those guys have moved on and they've just replaced them. Now you got Christian Javier, you got Yordan Alvarez, and they've done a great job in their minor league system. I don't know who runs their minor league division, but that guy deserves a raise because they have done a great job of just bringing up the next star, basically.
Yeah. I mean, everybody thought Siri was going to be a good bringing him up, but they didn't know that he would, they were like, there's no way he's going to be a Correa type. And then all of a sudden he does what he does, though it was only for a short time in 1 year, but there's no reason to think that he's not going to do near the same this year.
Right. 25 Perez says maybe they found a different way to cheat and haven't got caught yet. Well, that's true. But, as Ric Flair says, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
So is every other Major League Baseball team ever lived.
Right.
Okay.
That is right.
I mean, I'm sorry, but if you can do something that someone else hasn't thought of and do, usually baseball will tell you stop it.
Mhm.
Baseball didn't tell the Astros to stop it. They just went ahead and just said, here you go,
Yep.
But they're not the only ones. The Toronto Blue Jays used to put lights in there in the thing for, in their stadium,
Mhm.
in the windows
Yep.
after
Well,
the couple in the,
yeah, in the
in
sky
the
dome. They always have to find a way to get a little advantage a little bit. And I don't
Yeah.
even know if the advantage really is that much of an advantage sometimes.
I don't know. I mean, it's like Greg Maddox said, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to pitch to you. You got to hit it.
Yeah,
And the chances of you're not going to hit it.
right.
So,
Definitely. So,
yeah.
all right. So that's the American League. Let's move over to the National League. Let's talk about the National League East. Justin Verlander, we talked to him a little bit. He's going to the Mets, teaming up with his old buddy Max Scherzer. Sean Murphy going to the Braves. I really like that Braves pickup by the Braves, getting Sean Murphy, like him. Trey Turner, the World Baseball Classic hero right now, hitting grand slams and everything, going to the Fighting Phillies, the National League champions from last year. And Luis Arias, we talked about him a little bit, going to the Marlins, getting traded for Pablo Lopez. All right, Chris, what do you think about the National League East? I see you're wearing your Braves jersey. You really study the National League East. Let me hear the in-depth analysis.
All right.
The National League East.
Well, I think Trey Turner's the biggest pickup in the National League East, just because of what he can do at the leadoff position. He's got speed. Hopefully, he doesn't get power hitter hungry after the World Baseball Classic. I've always liked his game. He can defend. He can play multiple positions if asked to, but he's going to play short. We already know that. He's been on World Series teams. He's been with Bryce before with the Nationals. Sean Murphy pickup for the Braves, I like. Young, talented catcher, but if I was going to rank him, I'd probably put Murphy third. I put Verlander over him, but I think Trey's the biggest is the biggest pickup.
Yeah, definitely. And the big thing is now, can Trey keep them afloat until Bryce Harper comes back?
Yeah.
That's going to be the thing. Can the Phillies stay in the race until Harper comes back? And when Harper comes back, what kind of, you're missing half the season. How long is it going to take you to get back into the groove Bryce Harper is going to do for the Phillies?
If June comes around quick and they got Kyle Schwarber month again, I mean, that might do it, because for some reason in June he kills the ball.
Right.
I mean, let's go 10 home run streaking. Let's go. Yeah.
So who's your pick for the National League East to win the National League East this year?
The Braves.
Going with the Braves?
Yeah, because if the Mets keep on saying anything about them, the Mets need to just not even talk about the Braves. Don't even, because all that's going to happen is, oh, you talked about us. Okay. We're what, 10 games back? Okay. Well, we'll see. Mm-hmm. We'll see past you. And, so I think Diaz's injury is going to hurt them the most. I mean, that's just a blow. I mean, until they, the Braves got pitching. Max Fried should be back, hopefully. But they still have Kyle Wright, and they still have other pitchers that have pitched well for them. I don't think Dansby Swanson is that big of a loss, honestly. Grissom will play a good shortstop. I mean, you got Riley, who I thought should have got more consideration for MVP, and he completely didn't make the top 3 list, which was shocking.
25 Press says Mets lost 2 pitchers, Diaz and Quintana.
I'm not even worried. I mean, Quintana is. He's had good years. He had good years with the White Sox and had a good year with
the Cubs.
Yeah, with the Cubs, but I mean, Quintana does not scare me. Diaz coming out of the bullpen scares me more than Quintana pitching. I mean, and now you got 2 aging veterans in Scherzer and Verlander, who have been hurt recently in the last, how long? Hopefully they can stay healthy. I love to see just how that pitching staff will do with them too, healthy. I mean, I think it a 1-2 punch that's going to be hard to beat. I mean, but
definitely. But I think over in the whole season, though, I'm going to predict the Braves too will win the National League East. I'm more worried about the Phillies than the Braves, but I think I'm more worried. I'm more worried about the Phillies and the Mets for the Braves. But I think it's going to take Philly a while to get. I see Philly getting one of those wild cards as well.
Mm.
But I think it's going to take them a while. Not having Harper. If Harper was there for the full season, the
Oh,
Phillies would be very tough to beat for the National League East.
oh,
But I think without him missing about half the season, I think the Braves will be able to get a big enough lead on them and be able to take the National League East.
I mean, if Braum can come up with some power for Philly, and some other guys, I mean, they got one of the best catchers. Braum improved greatly after talking back to Philly fans, which I'm surprised they loved him after that, instead of trying to throw stuff at him at a baseball game. But
well, when you start playing well, they'll forgive anything.
yeah. I mean, they still haven't forgiven Santa Claus. So I mean, hey.
Well, that's true, but it's because he always gives them coal every year, so yeah, it just happens. So, all right, let's move over to the National League Central. Big pickups is Wilson Contreras for the Cardinals. And the only other pickup I saw really was Trey Mancini for the Cubs. I couldn't find many pickups for the National League Central. And the Cardinals lost a lot. I mean, they lost Pujols, they lost Molina, they lost Wainwright. But I think it's still the Cardinals division. This division is not one of the strongest ones. I think it's got to be the Cardinals for National League Central. What do you think?
Yep, I'm going with the Cardinals. I think the people on one below that are going to be a little shocking for some people, but I think the Cardinals. You still got Goldsmith, who's the MVP. You got Nolan Arenado. You got Gorman. I mean, you got Contreras from Chicago. Which, how does that happen? You know. So yeah, I mean, and plus they got farms, and plus they know how to win. That's a big one. I mean, even when they're down, I mean, they know how to win. I mean, it's one of those organizations that, you know, if you go to, you're going to be somewhere in contention, if not for the division, at least for the wild card and make the playoffs. So you're going to want to play that 162. So.
Right, and they have the Monday Night Huddle's favorite player, Lars Nootbaar.
Yes,
can't forget about Lars.
We should be having more of a everyday position for him for sure.
He's been doing great this spring training in World Baseball Classic. I think he's playing for Team Japan, I believe.
Yeah.
Doesn't speak any Japanese, I don't think.
Hey, Tony's there. He'll be like, hit ball.
Yeah.
And,
or maybe he'll try to convince Ohtani to come over to St. Louis. Wouldn't that be something?
I mean, if you got three teams that could afford him, St. Louis is one of them. I mean, that's
the only thing you got to worry about St. Louis is, do they have the pitching, really?
They got, I know I'm going to say his name wrong, but Milkakis, Milkas.
Oh, Milkakis, yeah.
He's looked good so far in his outings. So,
but is he like a number one pitcher on most
no,
teams?
Probably not. They don't have a true one.
Right.
They have a lot of 2 A's or 2 B's.
Yeah.
Have that. But, you know, they might be one of those teams that every once in a while just, hey, we'll bring up some guy that no one's seen before. And, you know.
And the division is so weak, you know, their pitchers actually look kind of good going up against the other divisions, really, or the other teams.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think any team in the AL Central has a great pitching staff.
No,
I mean, even the Brewers, I don't think the Brewers are going to be all that great, and it's just, you know.
The only reason I can see the Brewers great is because default you get to play, you know, the Pirates and Reds, you know, twice a year, and or more than twice a year. You get to play them a bunch, so it's going to be. That's the only way the Brewers will probably finish second.
That's definitely a possibility.
Yeah. So, all right, let's move on to my division that I like the best, the National League West. JD Martinez joining the Dodgers. So has Noah Syndergaard, and the big one, Xander Bogaerts, going from the Red Sox over to the Padres. National League West, of course, they are loading up again. Dodgers are not as formidable as they were the last couple of years, losing Trey Turner and a lot of different guys like that. Justin Turner's gone. he's kind of the heart and soul of that team a
Mhm.
little bit. What do you think about the National League West out there, Chris?
Um, I like the Syndergaard thing to the Dodgers. I think that's pretty good. Gives them a good. Um, Depends on how they set up their pitching rotation, but they got at least three good starters in Bueller, Kershaw, and him. So I that's going to be a pretty tough situation. But Bogart's going to the Padres as a shortstop and moving Tatis to the outfield, which I'm really worried about. I just don't. I would trade Tatis if I could. Probably can't because of the contract. Um, I don't. I just don't. I like Tatis. I hope what he did. You know, just clear it up, go back to playing, and let the fans. If you get we've already proven that we can get over guys doing steroids. Once or getting caught once. But Bogarts at short's just scary. I mean, look at the infield itself.
Yeah, that San Diego team is going to be very tough. I think over on the long run, I think the Dodgers are going to win the National League West. I think it's going to take a while for the Padres to get settled in and see where they are on their pitching and everything. Their offense is scary, but I think the season long, I'm going to go with the Dodgers in the National League West. Who's your pick for the National League West, Chris?
Padres.
Padres, okay.
Yep. And I think they might have too many stars because sometimes you just get too many players.
Mm-hmm.
But I think overall, you can. I mean, if they can get, I mean, they got the right manager for it. And did they get Bochy?
I think they got Bochy. Yeah.
If they're the ones that got Bochy, then I think Bochy's the right manager for it. I really do. I can't remember because I know the Rangers got a good manager too. I just can't remember who got who. So
hold on, let me look up here. It looks like, is it Bob Melvin?
Is it Melvin?
I think it's Melvin. Okay.
Bochy went to Texas.
Yeah. Okay. Scratch the Padres now. They're out.
Well, Melvin's not a bad guy to have either. I mean, no. I mean, he's a 2B, 2A, CA guy. I mean,
yeah.
3A. I mean, Melvin's been there I mean, he understands the every day.
It's hard to take Bob Melvin seriously after you watch Moneyball, the movie. You're just like, Bob, they just did him so bad. It's just like,
I mean, yeah, the book wasn't too nice to him either.
Right.
I mean, believe me, Bochy would have been perfect for the Padres. I mean, but I mean, hey, you got Manny Machado, who's I mean, if he does what he did last year with Tatis not even there, I mean, Bogarts is going to help out. I mean, how do you make that lineup every day?
I know Machado could easily be the fourth best player on your team.
Yeah.
He could be behind the, Tatis and Bogarts and Juan. We didn't even talk about Juan Soto.
Yeah. And it's like the guy would put up numbers last year that people were like, just like, oh, he played for the Padres.
Yeah.
It's like he played without the best players for the whole season, basically, and it's carrying them. How much do you want from the guy?
Right. So I'm hoping, just as a Giants fan, my Giants, I don't think are gonna. We lost out on everybody this year. We lost out on Aaron Judge, Carlos Correa. We lost out on. I think we'll be competitive, but I don't even see us getting a wild card this year.
Guys, we're getting Aaron. Once the free agency hit, I thought that would have been perfect for him to go back home and hit there. I mean, that would have just been like, bye Barry Bonds.
we've been snake bitten. Like, we were like in the running for Bryce Harper, and we just, for some reason, nobody wants to go to San Francisco, and I have no idea why.
I mean, you guys got good talent. I mean, you guys got, you guys know how to make a team.
Yeah.
If you think about it, your team to the World Series, just with the players, if you think about it, that team was competitive when a lot of people were like, how are the Giants in the World Series?
Right.
So
believe me, I like to watch those all the time now.
Yeah.
It might be a while before we get back in.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
So, All right, that is our we've gone division by division. Now it is time for our World Series pick, folks. Bring Chris Ellis back on. I'm going to give you my World Series pick first. I am going to go. Where did I put that? I put that somewhere. I just came up with it tonight, too. I am going with Padres Blue Jays World Series, and I'm giving it to San Diego Padres in 7 games. I think it'd be an awesome series. Talk about the star power if that happened in the World Series. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette, all those great Blue Jays against that loaded Padres team with Manny Machado, Soto, and Tatis, and Cronenworth. We didn't even talk about him, and Bogarts and stuff. I think that would be a stupendous World Series matchup. That would be my pick. Chris Ellis, who do you got for the World Series?
Oof. Well, I don't have the Braves, so I was going Padres out of the NL for sure. It's it's hard to. You know what? I got the Astros still. You still got to. I mean, you still. I think a Padres Astros series would be nice. Be closer to home. That way, I could actually go see the Astros because it's not too far from here. But I think I think the Padres just, if they don't win it in the next couple of seasons, it's just lost. I mean, with that talent, can you not win at least one? I mean, until someone beats the Astros, I don't see anybody in their division beating them out of the division. And the only teams that I think will be tough for them, I don't even know if the Central is going to be tough, because I mean the Central's still one of those up in the air divisions as in toughness, or that with the Astros. And I would love to see the Rays and the Astros in the AL Championship game, but it's just Astros are just a scary team. Not really.
So who you got the Padres and Astros? Who's going to win it out of those two?
Oh, the Padres will. I think San Diego would take it home. I don't think Tatis will be on the team for the playoffs.
He'd be. I mean, if they needed pitching or something, he'd be a good trade bait to trade to get some pitching.
Yeah, and with getting Bogarts, it's just to me, it's a sign of getting him out of there.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, you can't stay healthy too. That's his other problem as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not as long as every time he's come back from injury, he's been good. So, I mean, he's like almost like, all right, first at bat, home run. Okay, he's back. Okay. I mean, he's a little bit more gone this time around because of the suspension. So, hopefully he learned his lesson. But,
hopefully. Well, that means we both picked the Padres win the World Series. That means you want to put all your money on a different team. Don't put your money on the Padres, because me and Chris don't know what we're talking about half the time. So
the Padres would be like, and watch it. The Padres finishing last. Let's start last.
Yeah. Well, remember when they got Soto last year? Like they tanked. Like they went extremely down. It's going to take them a while to figure out. Plus, you add Tatis now. They figured it out in the playoffs after they got Soto. But now you're adding Tatis in it. It's going to take them a while to figure out how to manage that team.
That Tatis in the outfield is just scary. It's not scary good. It's scary like bad. It's not like it's not like guys like it's not like Josh Bell. Josh Bell's been in the outfield before. If he needs to go in the outfield, okay, so be it. But Tatis, when he was in the outfield, do you really want him diving for balls? You're playing a guy that's a shortstop. Unless they do this, unless they move Machado to first and put Tatis at third.
Yeah.
But I don't think Machado would like to go to first base, even though he's played first. So.
Right. And then you got to find room for, Kim and Cronenworth. I think Cronenworth's going to be playing a lot of first base for him this year.
Yeah.
So you can put one at catcher, maybe. I don't know. That's the only position I don't know who catches.
I don't know if I'm getting run over by some people. Well, they would take advantage of that, I think.
Yeah.
If the ball is bounced at the plate, I'm going to run him over.
Right. That is true.
I love Manny, but I also know that a lot of people don't. So, But
all right, Chris, I want to thank you for being on our show tonight. I was usually have two people, so you didn't have to do all this talking. So I appreciate you coming on the show. What new videos do you have posting up soon here on your YouTube channel?
I got one. My son unfortunately couldn't be here yesterday, so I'll probably be doing a solo one tomorrow. I'm actually putting a couple guys in my favorites box right now, so I'll probably bring out one of them and show what I got of them. I don't know who I might do. I might do. I might do my Aaron Rodgers collection because I didn't know I had that many Aaron Rodgers cards. I got a bunch that I did not know I had. So, but
there you go. So make sure you check out Chris Ellis Card Guy on YouTube. You guys did a baseball preview show already too, right?
No, we were supposed to do it yesterday, but
okay.
we will do it on our next one. So,
okay. So you could pick a totally different World Series now.
No, I'll go with what I had. I had
okay.
the divisions all done. So, and like the MVP, Cy Youngs, and Rookie of the Years.
Mm-hmm.
So
I forgot to ask you, we usually have Rob the Shark ask us for prospects. Do you have a couple rookies for us to look out for collecting this year?
Oh, Gunner for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my son was talking about a guy for the Diamondbacks. He really likes that he's watched during spring training. He's a top prospect. I can't think of what his name was, but for sure, I mean, the prospect list is kind of Henry Davis for sure. If he's brought up, I think for Pittsburgh that would be a good pickup to bring him every day. The shortstop for the Yankees, if they let him play,
Velope, yeah,
Velope would be a good one for sure. I mean, they're looking at the top Rookie of the Year prospect list for the major league teams this year for MLB.com. Mm-hmm. There really wasn't anybody that was like grabbed. You know, like the Braves have a catcher. Well, that catcher ain't coming up.
Yeah.
I mean, Gunner's probably the biggest one. I think he'll get the most playing time, and the way he is, I don't think he's a missed prospect.
Right. I think that Diamondback you're looking for is Corbin Carroll, maybe.
Yep. Yeah. My son says he's been watching him a lot, and he likes him very, very much.
Yeah, I've been seeing some good stuff about Corbin Carroll coming out. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with him.
Diamondbacks need something for the fans.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Chris, I want to thank you for being on the show tonight. Make sure you go over to YouTube and check out Chris Ellis Card Guy. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. That's all the time we got for tonight. Again, next Monday night, we are for the Monday Night Huddle show. Of course, we're here every Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, is our WrestleMania preview show with our buddy Keith White from the Mixed Tag Podcast. Well, formerly the Mixed Tag Podcast. They went away because they brought me on the show for a little bit. But he will be here to give us all the details on the WrestleMania preview show. That's all the time I got for tonight, guys. I want to thank my guest, Chris Ellis, Card Guy on YouTube, for bringing us here on our preview show. That's all the time I got for tonight. Again, next Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, the WrestleMania preview show. Have a great week, everybody.